Yeah, all right. Well, thanks everyone for being here this evening. Really excited to welcome you to our Fiverside chat. We've had one of these before, so this is the second, and it is definitely something that we hope to continue to do. I think if there's one thing the pandemic taught us, it's that we have the technical capability to connect with people more frequently and from our own couches and offices. And so we're going to take advantage of that, and we're going to keep doing that. And we especially wanted to gather folks that are close to us, the ones who are really investing in our young people and in our organization. And we wanted to make sure that we're providing regular, meaningful updates to all of you. And so we're going to keep doing it in this way, and I hope you enjoy it. So tonight we're going to hear from our board leadership. So Jim Roper, our board chair, and Michèle Brazil, our vice chair. And we've also invited several of our Fiverr alumni to join us. And one of our alums, Aislee Nieves, is going to kind of lead the conversation with a few other fellow alums. So I would like to turn it over to Jim and Michèle to get us started.
Thank you, Christie. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to all of you for coming to our, as Christie called it, a Fiverside chat. We think it's a great way to communicate directly with our constituents and talk about the important work of the Fiverr Children's Foundation, a topic that is very near and dear to our hearts. 2021 has been an incredible year for us. First off, we were able to open the camp, which was really important for us, but particularly for the kids. And we were also able to have a board retreat weekend at the camp with board members, particularly some of the new board members and their families, which, for a lot of the board members was the first time they've actually were able to meet someone in person at the organization. So 2021 brought some real wind to our sails, which I think really is a testament to a lot of the folks that are on this call, our donors, our board, our staff, and our Fiverr alumni. We had a very strong fundraising year, and most importantly, we now have a 3-year strategic plan. We began in 2020 on our plan with one of our funders, YouThink. It was what I'd say was a very rigorous process over a number of months, which involved a lot of the staff and the board. And we also reached out to the Fiverr community for their input as we began to envision, what the future of the organization could look like. And out of that process, we developed 3 core strategies. First was increasing the depth of our services to youth and families. Second was investing in the people who really make the magic of Fiverr happen, which is our staff and our board. And third is to ensure the financial stability of the Fiverr organization so that we can sustain the work for the years to come. And what I'd like to do is to turn it over now to our vice chair, Michèle Brazil, who's going to talk a little bit more about the plan in detail.
Thank you, Jim. Good evening, everyone. It's so nice to see old faces, some new. So far, what we've seen is that the first year of implementation is that the plan is working. It has really taken a big effort on the part of the board and the staff to really get things moving. Our focus on key aspects of our work have resulted in a few major milestones, including construction of 2 cabins at Camp Fiverr, funded through Impact 100 NYC and the Ken Giroux Foundation, enabling us to have a dedicated space for our high school Fiverrs to participate in college access programming. Another aspect has been the growth of the Fiverr staff to increase our capacity to fundraise and support our youth and families, and a deepened focus on the alumni engagement, including one-on-one support, social activities, volunteer opportunities, and creating a pipeline for future leadership within the Fiverr community. Just briefly, Jim and I had spoke about this last week, and we started to think that the Fiverrs are the torchbearers of the program. You know, they start as young as 8 to go all the way up to high school, and with the alumni programming coming back and people actually working for Fiverr now, just the mission just continues in a really holistic way with our Fiverr alums. I'm also happy to report that our Fivers are continuing to make us proud, with a number of class of 2021 attending colleges like Yale, Johns Hopkins, Babson, Vanderbilt, and Syracuse, just to name a few. And we just recently learned that 2 members of the class of 2022 have been awarded full 4-year scholarships to Haverford and University of Pennsylvania. So we're really proud of everyone. So needless to say, an investment in Fiverr pays back in dividends. And as our alumni grow and become leaders and future role models to the Fiverr youth that follow in their footsteps, it's just beautiful to see, you know, something that Tom and Heather Tucker started. It's really just has set roots and it's really just blossoming and growing. So in that spirit, we've curated this evening's panel. This is an opportunity to hear from some of our Fiverr alumni as they share their journey from, you know, young Fivers to professionals today, navigating their personal and work lives and their experiences as emerging leaders. I'd like to thank Aislee, Gabby, and Alessandra and Brandon for their time this evening. I like to call them my alumni all-stars, because I think they were on their alumni board when I first joined this board. So I got to know them, and just to watch them, you know, as adults blossom into the people that they are now is just really wonderful. So I would like to turn it over to Aislee, who will be moderating this evening's discussion.
Thank you so much, Michelle and Jim. Good evening, everyone. I hope you are well and warm. My name is Aislee Berenice Nieves. I am a Fiverr alum of the class of 2014, and it is a pleasure to be here with you today. Currently, I am the high school program manager here at Fiverr, and I'm joined tonight by 3 awesome fellow alumni who I love dearly, and I would love for them to introduce themselves. So if you guys can, in whatever order you'd like for now, please share your name, your Fiverr graduation year, your current occupation, and where you work.
I can start. So my name is Gabriela Berroa. I'm class of 2011. I am currently a brand partnership manager at Google.
I will go next, sorry. So my name is Allessandra Mitchell, Brian. Sorry, so getting used to this. I am a guidance counselor or a school counselor at University Heights High School in the South Bronx, and I graduated Fiverr in 2008.
And I am Brandon Lopez. I am class of 2013. I am an integrated sales planner at Fuse Media.
Amazing. Thank you so much all for introducing yourself. And let's, we can keep the structure as we move on unless you are super passionate about a specific question. So let's get started. This first question, feel free to answer or not, since it may be a little challenging during these turbulent times, but how are you all doing? What have you been doing or trying to do more of during the pandemic to make sure you are taking care of yourself mentally, physically, etc.?
I could jump right in. I've been watching a lot of HD TV. I've been trying to become quite the handyman around the house and doing some fixtures here and there. That's how I keep myself mentally sane, because I know it's a lot going on. So for me to get my hands busy, you know, kind of like tackle some problems around the house and stuff keeps me pretty sane these days.
Awesome. Thank you, Brandon. Go ahead, Alex. I see you unmuted.
I did. So I am I'm using the time to actually balance work and personal a little bit better, because I'm being forced to with the pandemic, which is nice. It is college application season, so, you know, working on balancing, but also just connecting with people, like I think because I don't get to see people, I don't get to connect the way I usually do. So finding different ways to connect and stay connected with folks.
Oh my God, these are all so wholesome, nice things. I spent the time baking and then gaining weight and then not fitting into my jeans when it was time to return, like optional return to office. So then like this has been my best friend to try and get back into jeans so that I don't have to buy a whole new wardrobe. So 10 out of 10, don't recommend picking up baking as a hobby when you have nothing else to do but bake and eat what you make, like eat what you bake.
I love that. It's totally relatable. Awesome. Thank you all. Moving on to our second question. Can you briefly share your career journey to this point and what impact Fiverr has had on that journey?
So I can start just because I see that I'm unmuted. Well, to say that the reason that I am where I am is because of Fiverr, I think is very much an understatement. So I once started off, I guess, my college career at Colgate, thanks to Tom, who approached me once he knew that I was applying to colleges and of that age, and kind of was just like, "You're applying to Colgate, right?" With the head shake that meant like, you better be applying to Colgate, which I did. And it's my alma mater and where I ended up going. And fast forward to the connections I made through Colgate is how I got my first job at Univision. And then even fast forward to almost 3 years ago, which is crazy to think about, Melissa actually invited me to a panel that was being hosted for Fiverr students at Google. And at the time I had left Univision and wasn't really happy with my role. And hearing the inspirational stories that I heard from those employees at Google, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna shoot my shot and see what happens. And fast forward to almost 3 years later, I've been at Google now for 2.5. And it was really that panel that I was invited to through Fiverr that catapulted my new career in tech.
Yeah,
So
I can piggyback off that too. Oh, go ahead, Alex.
no, go ahead, Brandon. Go ahead.
Okay, I was jumping off just because me and Gabby are in the same industry. We're both in media / Univision. I was at Viacom for a while, so to kind of go off that, my story is a little bit the same, to say the least. Like Fiverr started everything in terms of my career. I literally walked into the office after a random interview somewhere, couldn't even remember, and went to the office to have lunch. And me and Christie met, and she was kind of like running down my resume with me and asking me what I was looking into to get into in terms of career path. And I said, I don't know, maybe sales or marketing. And then from that led to, okay, reach out to XYZ. And it was great people from companies all over. It was Viacom, Ogilvy and Mather. I think it was NBA was one as well. And I actually hit it off with one of the VPs over at Viacom. And then after it was like 4 or 5 rounds of interviews, I got a position there and was there for like 2.5, 3 years as well. And then left there, went to Disney for a quick stint at Disney. And then from Disney went to Fuse now. So it was kind of Fiverr started everything, and then which led me to where I am right now.
That is a reoccurring thing for me as well. Fiverr literally started everything. But I will date mine back to when I was in high school, and my mother was very unhappy with my high school choice, and Fiverr helped me get into one of the Catholic schools, a scholarship. Fiverr walked me through my college process. And then after college, I had a conversation with Christie that I didn't know what I wanted to do. And we went through options that I already had in my head and what made me happy. And I knew from working at Fiverr, because, you know, back when Gabby started camp, I read books to her in her cabin and I spent the day with her cabin. I knew that I wanted to work with kids. And so that conversation with Christie is the one that led me to where I am now. So I'm the 6th year guidance counselor already. Yeah, I dedicate my entire career, my entire trajectory to like all my conversations at camp.
Alex was my camp mom.
I love that so much. Believe it or not, she was also mine. I appreciate that.
Sister, is that
And
you?
and mine.
Yeah.
I was,
And mine too.
It's
I
amazing.
was
Go ahead, Larry.
kind of lucky. I came to Fiverr in 2003, and I came to Fiverr retired. And I came all but the last several years. And Fiverr has taught me that you can believe in children. Don't sell them short. They can get it. They will understand. They will strive. All of the people that have been there have chosen to be leaders, to be something. And we can do that. We have to believe in them. And to them, thank you very much. Sorry I missed the last 2 years.
No worries, Larry. I just wanted to say too, it's just so obvious how impactful just, adult presence is and just giving us a chance. So thank you so much all for sharing that. I can see very many similar themes in your stories. Let's move on to this third question. What role has mentorship/role models played as you made decisions about your personal life and or career?
I could jump off and start if you'd like. So I would say it really means a lot, because to speak to somebody who's kind of been around the block a few times and has been through a lot of the situations that you are going through or will go through, and just to kind of like pick their brains so you can navigate and pivot in certain ways throughout your career to make sure that you're making the best possible choice that you can, I feel like is always good to have. And I mean, Fiverr the door is literally always open, and it's so warm and friendly, regardless of what year you graduated or where you are in your career. It's just always a great place to go and just ask a ton of questions. I mean, it's there for the Fiverr is just to pretty much connect and literally navigate through life. More than career, it's just to make great life choices.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. And I think that going back to our stories, Christie is obviously a mentor and a sponsor for all of us. What I learned recently is that the difference between a mentor and a sponsor is that a mentor is someone who walks you through things and you can kind of talk and will help you develop career-wise, professional, personal, but a sponsor is someone who advocates for you in a room that you're not in. And I don't think that there's anyone within the Fiverr staff that, given in a position to advocate for any of the Fiverrs, isn't going to do so to the hardest and their potential and everything that they can. And I think that knowing without a question that that's a support that we have makes it so easy to look for that mentorship within the staff, within each other, in different experiences. Like I can very personally remember going to Christie when I was not happy with my role prior to Google and just being like, Christie, like, am I going crazy? Like, what, like, tell me that I am not, like, am I in the wrong? Like, help me figure this out because something's not right. And I think that we can all say that if Larry Geller has not been a mentor to all of us, like, my nose would grow like Pinocchio right now, because if any of us has ever been in a position to like give someone a handshake and not think eye contact, firm grip, something so simple yet so impactful that we learn from the time that we're 8 years old, or even hearing Tom and the stories that he's told about how he went through all of his career changes of owning a bar to working in finance to being like, I'm going to open up a summer camp. I think that if those are not the stories of resilience and entrepreneurship and really dreaming and accomplishing those dreams that we've heard literally since we were 8 years old, then like I don't know what better example there could be out there besides like our parents, who would probably all say that they look to Fiverr for advice also.
Definitely what you both said, but I also think what I love about the mentorship and the support that we get from Fiverr is that it's just very non-biased. Like it's not Fiverr doesn't have its own agenda when guiding us. And I think that is what, for me, has played a role the most, especially as I was making decisions about my career, because when I would turn to some people, like everyone has a reason for why I should do something. But in my conversations, it's always just like, no, Alex, like, why do you need to do this? What about this is going to be fulfilling for you? And it happened when I was fresh out of high school, fresh out of college, and it's still happening to this day as I have conversations about where my career is going to take me. So definitely one of the most important things too.
Thank you all so much. The complexities of the pandemic, coupled with the various social justice movements that took shape in 2020, centered the long overdue need of representation of Black, Indigenous, and people of color in all aspects of public life. Can you share why representation matters specifically in your area of work?
They matter because of the same reasons they matter to Fiverr. Like, for me, it's the kids that I serve. I work in the South Bronx, and all, if not the majority, of my students are Black and Brown students. I have a lot of male students, and to me, it's the power of having someone that they can connect with. I also deal with all of the seniors, so it's the most sensitive time as they're making life-changing decisions. And I think a big part of it is not just that, I am a person of color, that I'm approachable, like my personality, but I think a lot of it also has to do with my age, and that I also can connect with them, not just on the way I look, but also sometimes, I understand where they stand. So having representation in my line of work is one of the most important things for success of the students.
I would say you don't know what you don't know. It's hard to dream about something or to think about what you can accomplish if you don't even know that that's a possibility or a reality. And I think that having representation from, to Alex's point, people that look like me or that come from a similar place like me, to know, oh, that's something that they did, so that means that I can do it, and specifically in tech. And as we are here on Zoom and we talk about digital world with the pandemic, even certain things like the way that a camera is built or the way that pictures are reflected, if a picture doesn't have a flash, it's not going to have the same impact on a picture of me as it would, for example, Jim or someone else that doesn't look like me. So having representation in spaces that are building, making sure that we are being included in those conversations, I think goes beyond just career and professional life and income. I think it goes to everyday living and the things that are they built for us? Is this a space where I'm being considered? Is this product for me? So I would say it's in literally everything that we do, representation should be considered, because everything that we do has an impact. And if we're not thinking about that impact tenfold, there's no longevity in whatever it is that we're doing or that product that we have.
Yeah, to piggyback off that too, representation is big. I would say, great minds come from any single background or any avenue in life, and you shouldn't look down or think that someone's opinion is not, up to par or matters as much as someone else's. So I think just being in that room, just being in the room and being able to, engage in conversations and piggyback ideas off people is big, and it goes a long way, especially when there's minds from all different aspects of life, like I said, and coming together you can make a great thing. So I think representation is big, especially in media as well. Like, we need people from all areas of life to sit down and create that one product or that one campaign or that one that one show or literally anything, because you don't know how big it can turn out.
I would say it's also blind spots that we have, because I have my own biases or biases based on the way that I grew up, my experiences. We all carry that, but it's through meeting people with different backgrounds, different perspective, different experiences, that we can get a more holistic picture, or even be more self-reflective and figure out, like, what biases did I have that I didn't that I wasn't cognizant of, or what did I learn about a different culture or different experiences that just overall makes us better human beings.
Thank you so much, Gabby, Alex, and Brandon. It's always a learning process. And I really do personally thank Fiverr for just putting us in spaces to kind of have these conversations and you know, participate in amazing activities to help us grow and become more aware. So thank you. Last question. How has your involvement in Fiverr evolved since graduating from the program? Why do you choose to stay connected?
One of our t-shirts says, impress others so they ask. And then you turn around and it says, who was that? And I think everything we do at Fiverr is to have people understand they are who was that. They could have people say by the way they greet them, their abilities, what they've achieved, what they believe in themselves, who was that? And that's our effort and my effort to end racism.
Thank you, Larry. I'm gonna need a couple of those t-shirts in our office. But yes, would anyone like to begin with answering that question? Or would you like me to repeat it?
I can go first. Thanks, Brandon. So I actually am still very involved and connected in Fiverr. So during the year when I'm not with seniors, I choose to spend my summers as a safety director at camp with our kids, and literally that's where I am. I choose to stay involved. It's just, there is nothing like the power and the magic that is camp, that is our kids. And it's just the experience of being there. And after, I mean, this is, Christie would be my fourth summer as the safety director. One of those numbers, I'm so sorry, I lost track. It's been a lot of years. But so like fourth or fifth summer as a safety director, and nothing is ever the same. Nothing is, there's never a dull moment. And that's why I choose to spend the 2 months that I do get to myself giving back to Fiverr. Our kids are so powerful in every sentence that they give, every action that they take. They are game changers, and it is an honor to be in their presence, which is why I choose to stay connected and choose to give back.
Yeah, to piggyback off that, I feel like Fiverr has had such an impact in my life that it's only right to give back as much as I can. And I think I'm not a millionaire just yet, so the most valuable thing I have is time and information and whatever I can offer. So, I mean, just like Alex said, I took a vacation and went to Fiverr a few times. I think I took 2 weeks off, with the blessing from Christie. She allowed me to come over and spend a session over there and just kind of just throw me wherever you're needed. If you need someone to sit in through a cabin or read a story to the kids or just teach a class, I was there wherever I was needed. And I think bringing that into like the career path, we had Fiverr kids come into Viacom when I was over there, and I was there to give them tours and sat on a couple panels at Viacom as well, and just kind of talk to them and let them see that I was just like them once upon a time, in Silver and Dandelion, and now I'm working at a great big company, so you can do that too. And I feel like you said, just allowing them to see that it's possible is a great thing, and I feel like I owe it to Fiverr because of where I am today. It's only right to give back as much as I can.
I always wanted to be a camp counselor, but I was not spending a year in upstate New York. That's so when I was in college, I never was a counselor, but I did work in the office in the city for a few summers. And now that I am older, I guess, and more mature, I use the resources that I have through Google to help. I work closely with Melissa and figuring out ways that we can fundraise and get more Google employees really involved with Fiverr. I also help in terms of getting other students or other alums to come get a tour of the Google office, get an idea of possibilities, kind of passing down what I receive from Fiverr and why I even applied to Google. And if I can do that for someone else, I would love to do that. I've also just working with other Fiverr students through LinkedIn that have reached out, having conversations with them on the side of what their careers might look like, or looking at resumes. And I mean, I stay involved because at this point, uh, Fiverr is part of my life. I mean, my parents ask about Christie, I think, more than I ask about Christie. Sometimes they've gone to camp, they've gone through the experiences themselves. It's when Tom says once a Fiverr, always a Fiverr, it really is embedded into the DNA. It's the values that we learn, it's the attributes, it's so ingrained in us that trying to separate the two is almost like separating a part of myself, because Fiverr is just so embedded into who I am as a human being.
Well, thank you so much, Gabby, Brandon, and Alex. And shout out to Larry for just always making magic and being here for us, and some awesome commentary as well. We now like to open it up to attendees to ask any questions of our panelists. We just ask that you add your question to the chat if you haven't already. And Melissa, our Director of Development, will take it from here. Just give you guys a second to think, and then Melissa will start us off with our first question.
Hey everyone, so I have one or two questions that were submitted earlier, but if you have any other questions, by all means, definitely drop it in the chat. But this can be for anyone on the panel. Is there an accomplishment that you're particularly proud of within your career that you'd like to share, or something that you're really proud of that you've accomplished so far?
This is not in my career, but my career allowed me to do this. I just purchased my first home, and it's actually not even mine. It was a gift for my mother. I purchased my first home for my mother out in Florida to kind of like set her up and have her live in lavish as much as she can. So that's a big accomplishment for me. And without Fiverr, to the career, to, you know, kind of good spending habits and saving, I wouldn't have been able to do that. So that's something I'm extremely proud of. It happened this year. So shout out to, you know, all the savings that you have, not taking the, you know, public buses to get to work or gas and stuff.
That's amazing, Brandon. Congratulations. Gabby?
Yeah, so I applied, so I don't know if I got the position yet or not, but I'm applying within Google to be the global lead for branding and marketing for the Latinx employee resource group, COPE OLA. And I was actually approached by the person that currently has the role based on some work or projects that we've done together. So that's something that is pretty cool, to be a global lead for a company that has over 70 offices worldwide, and to kind of set the stage, or what the unifying message would be for such an important group and something that's dear to me, like the Latinx community.
So all I heard is that means that our campaign next year is going to be amazing for the end of year campaign at Google, right? Yes? Okay, great.
Got you.
Alex?
So it's not official. I don't even know if I'm gonna do it, but
You're with family. You can share.
no, I know. I just, you know, if I put it out there, that means that I have to stick to it.
We're manifesting.
So, you know,
let's go for it.
all right. So, you know, there's conversations with my principal about mentorship to become an assistant principal or a principal to get my administration license and take that on. So it's in the works. There's nothing officially. I haven't committed to it yet, but it is conversation. She's agreed to mentor me, which is part one of the problem, like part one of the phase. So yeah. Let's see.
No, we love it. That's exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I mean, we just have rock stars on our panel. It's amazing. So the next question I have is, and this is our last question to wrap up, but when you think of the future of Fiverr, what would be your one wish for the organization and for our kids?
Can I?
Oh, cool.
Sorry. So I want to start this off because I was thinking about this earlier this week on how much Fiverr has grown since I was a kid. So like way back then in 2000, you know, we didn't have a pavilion. We didn't, a lot of the meaningful like year-round programs that Fiverr has now, you know, it's not that we didn't have it back then, but it wasn't what it is now. And so, Christie, I don't know if you remember this, but Jasmine and I, when you guys took us to our first benefit ever, we would always say that we want Fiverr to go worldwide and we want everyone to have the impact that like to have the opportunity to get what we've gotten. So I don't want Fiverr to go worldwide because I think I was having a conversation with somebody and it was just like, you know, if we make it worldwide, it changes its impact. But I want to see what more Fiverr does because in my experience here, it's literally been like night and day. We went from 2 offices to 1 great office, like the college acceptances that are coming out, the how much our kids can vouch for themselves, can speak up for themselves, are out there doing great advocacy work at such teenage years, sorry. But also because a lot of our alums that now work there, like Aislee, Mabel, I know how great you guys are. So to see that you're then going to mentor our younger ones, and it's just going to be their ability to go the next level, to reach the next level is going to be incredible to watch. So like, that's what I want for Fiverr. I want Fiverr to like our program, not theirs, our program, to just, you know, keep pushing the envelope and encouraging our kids that there's nothing that they can't do. And if someone says they can't, go get it because you need to prove everyone else wrong. So that's what I want.
Ooh, I love that. I would say awareness for me is really big. Even with some of the campaigns that I've done internally, just speaking about Fiverr and hearing the reaction, and I'm sure that everyone on the board had the same reaction, which is why they wanted to join the board in the first place. But just spreading awareness so that we can continue to garner support, specifically, I think in different fields, because I think it would be cool to have like a tech mentor or like robotics class or some of those super cool things that you get to do for the summer or like a coding class. So I think that just awareness and to get people super excited about the program that have different kinds of skills would be, I think, so cool and amazing to have that for Fivers.
That's a very good question, first of all, because I feel like Fiverr is next to perfect in my opinion. But I would say the only thing I could think of is maybe like, just came to me now, like maybe like having like a big brother, big sister program, but start at teenage years. So like you match up with someone when you're like 15 and then 7 or something, and then you continue on for forever and ever. Maybe that will I guess because I know that kind of happens already like indirectly, but maybe if there was like a certain program to do that or something along those lines, I think that would be very fulfilling because I mean a 15-year-old and a 7-year-old, there's a great gap there, but there's even a huge gap when they become 20 and 15 because they're in 2 different walks of life. So that would kind of be great to see, like as people walk into college and high school and their careers, they kind of just have that mentor for life essentially.
Thank you, everyone. And we're a little bit starting to develop something like that as an opportunity for our alumni to work more closely with our young people, and as well as our young people being able to support each other in the process. So stay tuned. That being said, I just want to thank everyone again. We can give some virtual round of applauses and emojis and all the things to thank our esteemed panelists and moderator for their input and sharing their stories with us today. Hold on, I'm just going to remove the pins here. Hold on. So you can go back to gallery view if you wish. Cool. Yeah, so thank you all so much. We really appreciate your time this evening. Stay tuned. Certainly in the new year, we have some really exciting things coming up. We have our alumni induction ceremony that will be happening as a virtual experience as well. And that is happening on January 11th from 6 to 7 p.m. And so you'll get information about that real soon, and information about our benefit in the spring and other really exciting news as we move forward. But thank you all again for your support and for joining us this evening. So have a happy and healthy holiday season, and we will be in touch soon. Have a good night. I'd say get home safe, but I feel like some of you are already home. So that's great.
Thanks, everybody.
Nice
Good
to
night.
see y'all.
Take
Bye.
care.